for a change?
I am talking to you.
Then get ready to explore the quantum possibilities. It's time to transform that outdated paradigm into something universal and new. Time to uncover the truth hidden beneath the veil of lies. A time to think outside the box as we link to a higher consciousness. Welcome to the awakening. And now the hosts of Broadcast Team Alpha, Nori Love and Augie Nost.
Well, hello, ascended, angelic, abundant ones. How are you? It's so good to be here with you on Tuesday night again. And we're going to be talking about you, angelic ones. We're going to be talking about the angels and, oh my goodness, there's so much to know about angels, and I didn't really realize that there was that much to know about angels. But the more that I find out, the more I love it, and the more I actually call the angels to help me. My friend, a while ago, before she transcended, read a book called, I think, Hiring the Angels. And from that day on, she would ask the angels literally to do everything for her. And somehow those things that she asked actually got done. So I am really excited to hear more about the angels. But first, I want to thank you. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for being so much fun in the chat room. Your presence is just, we're so grateful for you. Thank you for your love and your affection through the super chats or the donations. It's really helpful, during this time. Everybody's going through a change, and we are not immune to that. But thank you so much. So, hey, Augie, let's talk.
Yeah. Hey, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be one of those feel-good funs. Because, we're going to talk about angels and spiritual beings, and we're going to step so far out of the box tonight that you probably never will find the thing again. That's a good thing. And we have Constance Victoria Briggs with us. She is a metaphysical, spiritual, cosmic researcher and a writer. She's written several books, and she's on the radio circuit. I said several books. I think it is 4. That's quite a bit, twice more than me. Tonight, we are going to talk about especially one of her books, and that is Encyclopedia of Angels.
That's so funny. I can't believe you're saying that, because that's the book that I was just absolutely magnetized to when I was looking through Constance stuff. So sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And Constance loved to talk about the paranormal, extraterrestrials, life after death, near-death experiences, and she is on the trail of investigating the mysteries of the universe. That's my words. And welcome to the show, Constance.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having me back.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. And so I'm always curious about the person, before we go into the subject matter. So how did you come into this angelic realm? I mean, how did this begin for you?
Nori, it has been a long journey for me. I feel like along the way I have taken so many steps in progressing spiritually. And as a very young person, I started off going to church with my parents, like so many of us, and just always feeling a connection, not through church as much as trying to find answers to my connection of something unseen. I always have this spiritual pull. The religions, I've dabbled in religions, and I've, looked through many texts and ancient books and tried to find answers. So I was on a path from a very young age. As an adult, I started having more unusual experiences in my life. And the angels came into my life kind of with a bang. In an experience that I could not explain. I was a young woman, in my 20s, living, single in an apartment and working and all of that. But I have to just say straight out, we're not going to talk so much about the unseen world, but there is one. And I had an experience I felt there was a presence in my apartment. And I wanted to know how in the world could I get rid of this being that I could clearly feel around that I didn't want there. And I went on a journey as to how to proceed. And I stumbled upon, in a way, they were always there. They were always there. But I learned about the angels. I learned that we have angels around us that come in to this life with us, that are there for the calling. And when you need them, they can make themselves known, and they can do away with whatever evil or badness or something, no matter if it's, I'll get into some of this, if you're going to find yourself in a robbery or, you find yourself into a situation like I did where I couldn't explain the presence, but I learned that they are there for us to call upon. And so at that time, I started studying the angels. And I knew they existed from religion, but I didn't know that I had access to them.
Yes.
I always thought that Jesus had access to them when he was a baby,
Yes.
From those teachings. But no one ever told me that I can call on angels, and we have angels in our lives that were specifically sent in with us for purpose. So at that point, I started studying, and then my whole life started moving forward, and I started collecting angel stories and learning more. At that time, I learned first about the archangels.
Yes.
And I even went out, and I actually have a couple of little statues, figurines sitting in front of me. But I even at that time went as far to go as to get 4 statues of angels and put them on what I call now an altar. Now, before anyone misunderstands me, it was a shelf with angels and candles, and I just kind of referred to it as my little altar. It wasn't anything weird. And so I learned to call on the names of the archangels, and I remember asking when I really needed them, I said, where are my angels? And from the moment I said that, I tell you, I never had any more strange incidents in my apartment.
Wow. Yep. There you go.
They are there.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes all we have to do is just to ask.
All you have to do is ask, and also, when you find yourself in a predicament, and let's say you don't know, for example, that the angels are there, the angels could be helping you when you don't even know it. My situation could have been so much worse, and I didn't even know, how much danger, I could have been in, because I've heard, terrible paranormal stories, and calling on the light. Calling on the angels who are manifesting from the light of God or the source or whatever your word is for God. I prefer the divine source or source because
that's beautiful.
Yeah, they are emanating from a light that starts with the divine. And as it gets, that light comes further down through the tiers, it begins to manifest into the physical. So anyway, that's where they're from. That's where we're all from.
We are all from there.
Would there be many different types of spiritual beings that we sometimes kind of lump them together and call it angels? Maybe that's what we ask, and we get somebody to help us or something to help us. We think maybe an angel did it, but maybe there was another type of spiritual being that is maybe a guide that is with us all the time. Or could this be maybe confusing a little bit?
It is. It's very confusing because, we can't in this existence, we can't see them, and we can't see into the spiritual. We don't know that there are so many different entities there, and the angels, they can manifest, they can slow down their vibration if we need them to show themselves. They don't do that very often. So it is confusing because we can't see them. But going through my different studies of the various religions, cultures, and beliefs, I've learned that everyone has angels and everyone has what we call spirit guides. And talking about the difference of the two, and the guardians are actually angelic beings, but our guides can help us too. So the angels are sent with us as we come into life to help us get through life and to fulfill our mission here, whatever that may be. It could be to strictly come in to learn a lesson, or maybe we have a job here to do on Earth. They are here to help us get through that. The guides, physically get through that. They can jump in and stop a moving truck if they need to get us through. But for people who are not aware or have knowledge of angels, they don't know that the help is there, or they may not even have discerned that they were helped, in some way. But the guides, the difference is we also have teachers on the other side. So if there is something we need to do in this lifetime, and we can't remember because of the veil, we have a kind of spiritual amnesia. They are there to help us stay on the right course of action and the right course of gaining knowledge. Sometimes in my life, when I have felt that I needed to learn something and I didn't know why I needed to learn something, it was like someone just kind of nudging me to go in this direction, and I could feel it. And I would maybe open up to this idea, maybe if it was to learn more about the cosmos, or maybe to learn more about extraterrestrial life and out there, or whatever. I felt this nudging, and it was almost like an obsessive feeling that I had to get more knowledge, I had to learn. Those are your guides, trying to get you through your mission too, with their nudging, because they know what you're supposed to do. Whereas the angels are trying to help you get through it in another way, by just getting you through that day or a dangerous time, or just keeping you alert and alive, sometimes. So you've got a teacher and you've got kind of a protector with you. And sometimes I wonder, what they think of me in my life when they're watching what I'm doing. Or they're watching me get mad at my kids. And they say, clean up your room, and
Right.
But seriously, they are with us, and they are at our disposal. And if you are aware of that, you can call on your angels, you can call on your guides, and they are there to help you.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Now, can animals, can our pets see them? Because I swear I feel like they see stuff.
I'm fairly certain that, from my studies, it's my understanding that animals can see spiritual beings, whereas we cannot. And of course, I don't know how that whole science works. But I tell you, my parents in their home, whatever this was. See, I had moved out of my parents' home when I told you about I had some disturbing activity in my apartment. So before I moved into this apartment, my parents also had some issues. And I had a pet guinea pig. And I would tell you, I had that animal for 6 years, and I swear sometimes it was as if something was touching him and he would jump. And I knew him because I knew when he was scared, and he would just jump, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I think something's here. But then I've heard other stories about, dogs and cats especially, barking. Somebody told me a story that their dog was barking at the door. It was as if someone was standing there, but no one was there.
Yes.
So I think that they can. I think they can not just see the angels and guides, but they can see people that are coming in from the unseen world that maybe have crossed over. They can see them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have the guides or the teachers. They are probably the ones that is around us more so all the time. Maybe the angels is someone that we have to kind of request. Could that be close?
So I believe that we do have, like I said, the angels, with us that are sent into this life, but there are other angels, and these are the angels or the angeloi. Okay, so these are the beings. When I say angels, I'm not talking right now about the seraphim, cherubim, or archangels. I'm just talking about the ones that there are three tiers of angels, and even though they're at the lowest tier, lowest is not bad. Lowest is the closest to the material world that come in with humanity. Okay, I don't like to say lowest because it doesn't sound good, but It's great,
Sure.
So these are the angels that are the closest to the material world, and these are our personal guardian angels. So we have those, but we can also call on the archangels who are higher, I guess, higher ranking. They're more messengers. They're closer to the divine. They're a tier above the angels, and we can call on them, and they are just amazingly powerful. I hate to make the distinction, but there are distinctions between the angelic realm and their assignments. So whereas Michael and Raphael and Uriel and Gabriel are not the angels that act as our specific guardians that walk with us, helping us to get to the mission through our mission. They are more powerful beings that have a higher control over, I would say, some situations than maybe just the only guardian. Sometimes it takes a army of angels in some situations, to get through this lifetime. There are stories where there have been wars where soldiers have looked into the skies. There was one, the Angels of Mons, where they looked into the skies and they had gotten some help. I don't know how the angels distinguish between groups that are warring, if they're looking at their morality or what they're looking at, but in the story. But these angels had come in, and I don't believe that these were personal guardian angels in the skies, helping. I believe that these were more powerful, the archangels, or even, maybe the principalities that came in. So to answer your question, we have the guardian angels, but there are angels that are higher that we can still call upon. Now, when I had my problem, I wasn't thinking as much guardian angel as I was archangels. This it was such a huge problem for me. I don't really want to go into big, detail, but I felt that I needed, a lot of help. So this is just as a human, limited understanding and knowledge, between the angels and archangels and others.
So you were talking about principalities, and I mean, do our angels, are they doing battle on the spiritual realm with principalities, or?
No. So the principalities are angels. No, when I said principalities, I was thinking when these soldiers looked into the sky and they saw angels battling, I was saying maybe it was a group of the principalities of angels that were helping.
I see.
So I can run through some of the responsibilities of the angels and explain a little bit about the source. So I had mentioned earlier that the divine source or God is in, according to tradition, some ancient tales like that the Hebrews had and the Zoroastrians had, and others. God is in the center of the highest level of the cosmos, and out, from him are different levels of dimensions and different levels of beings. So the first level would be the seraphim. We would not have seraphim, I believe, so much walking around with us because they're too powerful. They're said to be incorruptible, brilliant, and powerful, and they are the closest angels to God, and they are in direct communication with the divine source or God. Yeah. And they are even so said to be so radiant that the next level, who are the cherubim, can't even stand in their presence. So these would be so high up that we are not communicating with them. These are not the ones coming to our rescue. These are too far up, but they are filtering down light, energy, love, and all of these wonderful attributes that come from the divine source of God.
Okay.
So, and then next you have the cherubim, who are said to be brilliant and mighty, and they're close to God as well. So I don't know how the whole cherub idea started. Cherubim are not cherubs. They're not little babies with wings. But no, they're far more powerful than that. And in there's this first level, those are the first two. And then in the next level, we have the angelic beings known as the thrones. And they are said to filter down light, love, and try to, inspire confidence in the power of the divine source. So it's almost as if you can imagine them gloriously up there, sort of using, if you imagine these beings with wings, and by the way, they don't necessarily have wings, but you're filtering down, just trying to reach, all of the worlds, because it's not just Earth where souls come to live. These beings are existing at a point where I believe that all of the souls in the universe, whether or not they're our planet or not, next, are coming down and coming in, and they're trying to control it all. And they're filtering all of this wonderful light, all energy from God down. So moving on, we can go, let's see, there's the virtues, who are tasked with imparting strength and courage to individuals. They're getting closer to us. There are the powers. I really like this. The powers are said to be the guardians of the passageways leading to the other side or to heaven. And I can just see, from what I understand about crossing over, that I can just see these beings there kind of guiding people through after they leave this life. So also, they act as guides to the lost souls. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I have just two more to go through after that. The archangels, they are mediators, and they're closer. We're so close now. They're mediators from the divine source to humans, and then we have the angels, who are the angels.
We only got about 15 seconds left before the break. So let's take a break now, and then we will be back continuing this right after the break. Stay with us.
This is the Broadcast Team Alpha Show, hosted by Nori Love and Augie Nost. The one show that takes your doubts of the unknown and spins them into reality. Share your thoughts by calling our hotline number at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Call now.
Worldwide callers use Skype name KCOR Radio. More cutting-edge conversation and exploration of the quantum universe.
Well, hey, everybody, we are back, and this is one of my favorite parts of the show, getting to say hi to everybody in the chat room. So, of course, we have the amazing, beautiful, rich, and famous Tina Marie. Anne is here. Hi, Anne. Dana. Hi, Dana. Daku. Elena CJ is here. High five. Gail is here. Iowa Girl. JC. Joe. We've got Joe Marco. In addition to Joe, we've got Karen and Lisa. Margaret. Hi, Margaret. Naj is here. Parked Cake is here. Rockster 58 is here. Shady D. Hey, Shady. Summer is here. Sunny is here. Wave Rider. Yappy Z. And Zaya Rea. I think that's how to say it. Hi, guys. So we're back, and I just love talking about the angels because I have very specific times where I know that they intervened in my life and, really saved my butt, literally. I was coming home one night from working as a hospice nurse. It was a Sunday night, and I was tired, and I may have been talking on the phone back then while I drove, I don't know. But I stopped at a light to turn into where I lived, and I don't even know how it happened, but all I saw was a Hummer, right? I have a little Nissan. I see a Hummer coming straight at me, and literally I felt like my car was picked up, moved ahead, so the Hummer only hit the back end of my car and nothing happened. And there was just no other way to explain it except angelic, interference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Very grateful.
There are
Amazing.
other stories like that
That's
too,
amazing.
that people have gotten out into the road and a truck came running at them, and they felt like the truck drove right through their car.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So there are people on the other side helping out, and we can't see them, so afterwards we always try to explain it away somehow.
Right. Interestingly enough, I was reading just today about a woman, Nori, similar to what you were saying, who was driving a car, and the person on her right was trying to turn left in front of her, and she had dodged the car. But anyway, this all happened so quickly. There had been a truck in front of her, and she thought, "Oh, my driving was great. I missed it, but how did I miss hitting this truck head on?" And she couldn't explain it except to feel like the cars had somehow gone through each other.
Yeah.
And there are stories like that. They can alter something.
The molecular structure of things or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So,
Oh, Nori, I see now we have a question from Barbara, and this is right up your alley. Can you see that in the chat, Nori?
Yep, hang on.
Okay. I can read it, though. Barbara from Twitter, I was always told if you see a feather, you have an angel nearby. Are there other signs there is an angel near you? Nori, you find feathers in your house. And there are no birds in the house.
I do. I have tons of feathers. And, it's so interesting, Constance, because that started soon after I had hosted the Archangels, which, that could have been something that wasn't even real. But I did everything I was supposed to do, like clean my house and buy some flowers. And then you open the door and you invite them in at a certain hour, and then they stay for X amount of days. But I have to tell you, my little house even felt different when they were there. And some really, funny things happened while I was hosting them. And then soon after that, literally, I have this dome vase that's almost half filled with feathers. So what do you make of that, Constance?
oh my. Well, I do believe that the angels will leave us signs. Yes. I believe that they are trying to reach out to us, in their own ways that are easy for us to relate to know that they're around, especially if you are cognizant of their existence. Everyone isn't. So, you can leave someone who is not familiar with this information tons of feathers, and they would think that there was a bird somewhere in their house.
Right.
But you, being someone who is aware, understood it was a sign. And that's what I think people should know, that they find ways to, let us know that we're not alone. They're thinking about us. And the more you know about them, the easier it is for them and also your guides to let you know that they are about. But I remember a story where a young woman was in a car accident, and she liked to bake. She was about 18. She liked to bake, and she had gone out that day, and she was killed in a car accident, and her family had gone to the scene. And when they came back, they found a angel-shaped cookie.
Wow.
And she hadn't been home all day to bake, and she hadn't baked the night before. But they found this little cookie, there in the kitchen, and they swore that she had to have, that an angel had left it as a sign that the girl had crossed over and was well. They took it as an angel sign that was left for them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And but I believe that they will leave little gifts for you around if you understand that they're there, especially.
Yeah, if you can see them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one more angel story. This is another hospice story. Usually when you work in an inpatient hospice, you see the patient once, or twice or 3 times if you work that much that week. But this was an unusual situation. And the first time I met this man, I totally fell in love with him. But it turned out that he wasn't quite dying enough to meet the criteria to be in an inpatient hospice. Well, couple of weeks went by and he comes in crisis, and we had a really rough night, and I had probably the challenge of my career, trying to keep him comfortable while he made his exit, and it was not easy for him. But in the middle of it, toward the end of it, really, he was struggling, and I had given him some medicine. I said, if I can just get you past this, this difficult point, you're going to coast. And I didn't even know the man was still lucid, but he picked my hand up and brought it to his mouth, and he kissed my hand. So that's not the angel story. He ends up finally passing on in the wee hours of the morning. I leave to go home from work, 7:30, 8 o'clock. And I said, okay, that was a rough night. You got to give me a sign. And literally, I pulled out of the parking lot. It was in a beautiful country setting. And right when I got to the stop sign, a little white feather fell on my windshield.
Oh.
Wow.
Right? I mean, you can't deny that. You cannot deny that,
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely.
I love angels.
Wow.
I love angels.
Yeah. I've had some experiences where I felt that they had and they can slow down their vibration enough to manifest, as a person. Not only, can they change the molecular structure of vehicles, apparently, but they can appear as people. So I had told this story the other day in the master class where I was pregnant with my second child, and I was very uncomfortable. I was 8 months along and just unhappy and ready to be done with it. So I had gone to the hospital, and my OB, I said, am I dilated yet? And she says, no, not at all. And I said, I'm not. Can you induce me? And so, no, give it 2 more weeks or whatever before I think about that. So I went downstairs, and I was standing waiting for my husband and thinking about life. Yes. And doctor raced. He was coming very fast down the hall, walking he was dressed in the doctor uniform, out of surgery, it looked like. He had the hat and the uniform. And as he passed me, he said, it's going to be okay. She's coming soon. Or some words to that effect. I can't even remember the exact words. It's going to be okay. And I looked, and I kind of giggled. Like, how could he just say that? And how did he know? And and I watched him go down the hall, and I, turned back But I thought about it later.
Yes.
That doesn't even make any sense. Why would someone race past me trying to give me comfort?
Yes.
And, I didn't know him. I do believe that was a message.
Yes.
Not only that, but they can also materialize vehicles. I tell the vehicle stories because I think people are so fascinated with the power that comes from over there. I was saying in the class the other night about a young man who had been stranded in a snowstorm, and his car had stalled and couldn't go anywhere. He was trying to get home for one of the holidays, and a tow truck came. It just happened to be coming by and saw him and stopped and helped him, gave him a ride and towed the car to his destination, which was his parents' home. He went into I don't remember if he said goodbye or not, but he went into his parents' home, and he he told them what happened and that they should come and see him or greet him or meet him. And when they came out, he was gone. He had left, but he was only in there for a short time, and there were no tracks in the snow. There was no sign that this person had ever been there with his vehicle to help him.
Wow.
Yeah. And if I recall correctly, he may have wanted to give him something monetarily or food or something. He went in, and he expected him to be out when he came, and he was gone. And they just couldn't find any tracks or anything. So I believe that, they can manifest things. I had an interesting experience years ago where I found myself in a dangerous situation. I put my own self in as a silly young woman trying to be a model out there. We have all these weird ideas. And I had gone to someone's house, and he had picked me up far from my home. I trusted this person. I answered an ad for this job. When I got there, it was not a site for models. It was just his place. And I told him to take me back to where he got me. And he was angry, but he put me in the car, and he dropped me off far away from where he had found me. And I was stuck. There was no one close. I could see houses miles away in the distance. It was a long way. It was getting to be evening, and it was a bus stop. But I knew that sign, and it was a local bus stop there, and there were no cell phones. Well, lo and behold, here comes a taxi slowly coming down the road. I mean, slowly. And I take taxis all the time. And I was able to, in these high heels and this little dress out there at the bus stop, far away in the no man's land, I hailed this taxi, and I believe now it was a lovely angel in there.
Yes.
I held I held it, and he stopped. And I told him, and I didn't even know the name of the mall. I had taken a bus. I didn't even know the name of the mall to tell him where I had taken the bus. But I said, it's this mall. It looks like this. And so he said, I think I know it. And I only had like $3 or $4. And I tell you, I swear, I got into this taxi, and I thought, this is the cleanest taxi I've ever been in. Yes, that was my thought. I can remember. And he took me exactly where I had dropped off so I could get that connecting bus. And it cost exactly the amount of money that I had, which was like $3. And I think I had like the subway card, to get back to the bus. And I swear, I cannot tell you that where I was, you would find a taxi at least speeding down that road. Really?
Right. Wow.
Years to think about that, to understand it, because I was so young.
Wow.
Imagine when we wonder how these things can happen. I have an old saying that goes like, for the one who have not had the experience, no explanation is possible. But for the one who have had the experience, no explanation is necessary.
Yes.
Because we know, and it's just up to us to open ourselves up to it. And once we do, things start happening. We see it a lot of times.
You really have to have sometimes had the experience to understand. And yeah, I agree about opening yourself up.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be an extravagant experience. There can be a little thing that you can't explain. And once you have that little thing, you wonder, gee, how that couldn't happen. According to laws of physics, this should not happen. And that opens up the crack in that mind for all of the rest of it can just shine in. That's how it, I think, started with me long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, I knew angels existed when I was a little girl, and I grew up in an interesting situation. But there were nights where I would go under the covers and I would ask for my 4 angels to come and sit on the corner of my bed, and I knew that they were there. I was 100% certain that they were there.
Oh,
And they were.
beautiful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we live in a very, very mysterious universe, and there is so much that we don't understand, and there is so much we can't see. There are beings, benevolent beings around us, and we should really embrace them and let them know that we're happy that they're there, and call on them when we can, and also say thanks when there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Do you think that they take delight in our experiences on Earth, like the good ones? Besides bailing us out, I mean, I often wonder if they, they enjoy, some of the things that happen on Earth, as a result of them being, commissioned to us or whatever it is.
I believe that, they are beings of light, and that they are working to filter that divine light down. And anytime we do something that is, just little good deeds,
Yes.
make them happy. Or when we learn our lessons,
Yes.
Because every time we learn a lesson, we grow spiritually, and we are closer to the divine too.
Yes.
We come into this world for a reason, and any time also that we are getting closer to fulfilling our missions here, or feeling our mission completely, I think they're happy. I think they take great delight in our successes.
Aw, that's so good. I was hoping that was true.
Yeah.
So you said some of them don't have wings.
Right. Okay. So I have to get this in. So basically, the word angels is it's an English term, and many people associate it with religion. But angels are not. Angels will appear to us the way that we envision them. If you're a Christian, perhaps you will, and they decide to show themselves for whatever reason, perhaps you will see an angel with wings. Right. However, if you are, I was saying earlier to Augie, if you are a shaman, you may they've had seen 8 eagles. You may see an eagle. Yes. That may come if you're lost in the wood. Perhaps an eagle may appear and kind of help you out, have you follow. Okay, whatever it is that you connect with is what they will appear to you as, but they don't have the wings all the time. Now they can move with the thought of light. They can move quick as light. They can move very fast, but not necessarily are they are always winged beings.
Right.
So that's something to think about, and they're not just for religion. These stories of benevolent beings, helping people and appearing to people and coming with messages, have come in all forms throughout all of these cultures. Since the beginning of written history, people have appeared and disappeared, or some entity or some animal or whatever their situation was. They did not always have wings, and they weren't called angels. There are many different names for these beings throughout the earth and throughout history and cultures.
Wow.
Yeah.
But because we live here, that's what we're getting.
Right.
That's the information, that we see. And I absolutely love the winged being.
Yes.
By the way,
Yes.
I have lots of angels around. That's how I envision them. But I know that they could come as a wolf to protect me. I need somewhere, too. Who knows? Because I'm more metaphysical, and I'm not religious. I'm more metaphysical, and I have different ideas about benevolent beings and the forms they can come in. But like I said, Native Americans, they're not imagining. I believe that they're, like they're religious. I believe they're maybe seeing other animals as a benevolent being. So, yeah.
Amazing.
I see we have 3.5 minutes left of the show here, and maybe could you talk a little bit about your website and also your books and where people can get a hold of you, and give them a little bit of what's in those books for the last 3.5 minutes?
Okay, so the Encyclopedia of Angels is a compendium of angels, their titles. It's the names of the angels and what they are responsible for in the hierarchy of angels. I also wrote the Encyclopedia of the Unseen World, which I would love to come on and talk about sometime. I have lots of stories about the unseen world, but this was written as a guide for people who would like to know more about near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences. There's some on there, the angels. There's some experiences, famous people in there, and things that they've encountered from relatives that crossed over.
There is a show brewing in that one.
Houdini's in there. Abraham Lincoln is in there.
Yeah.
But I also explain after death communication. Whereas your loved ones crossed over, ways they can try to reach you. It was written in a very simple format for the newbie, mostly to understand about the unseen world and everything that it might encompass in little bite-sized forms. I wrote the Encyclopedia of God with the aim of explaining who and what God is in various cultures throughout the world. Wow. And my last one was the Encyclopedia of Moon Mysteries, talking about mysterious events going on with our moon, and trying to figure out what that's all about. I've been talking about that a lot on the radio, having a lot of fun with that one, startling people. But anyway, it's about moon mysteries. It does have goddesses in there. It does have basic moon information, but mostly, what's going on with our moon that all the talk is about. Yeah. Oh, my website is ConstanceVictoriaBriggs.com. Feel free to send me messages, if you have questions. I do like to answer them. Also on Facebook, I have a page, Constance Victoria Briggs. You can, like me on there. I'm going to open an angel page very soon. I have a Moon Mysteries page, too, you can look up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. I think you guys are terrific, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for being with us.
So much fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And we will be back next week, so see you then.